We say in the Passover Haggadah that there are 4 children about whom the Torah spoke. Keneged arba banim dibra Torah. What exactly does that mean? What are these 4 children? Where does the Torah say that you'll have 4 kinds of children at your Pesach Seder? So the answer is that in various parts of the Torah, we find that our remembrance of what happened during the Exodus has to be, of course, commemorated every year. And when our children ask, we'll have to answer them why we're doing this. 3 times it says it in our Parsha. And once in Parshat Va'etchanan, in the book of Dvarim, when Moshe, in the last month and 7 days of his life, retells the Torah and explains many things. And there it says in Parshat Re'eh also, in Parshat Va'etchanan also, that when your children will ask, Ma chukim ve'mishpatim, very complex question. So this is considered a wise son. Somebody who asks a question with so many details and wants to know everything. He's the wise son, according to Chazal. And to him, the answer given, Ein maftirim achar Pesach afikoman. Very strange answer. What does it have to do with afikoman, and what exactly is the answer? The simple explanation is that the wise son, since he wants a detailed answer, so you tell him everything until the last Mishnah, all the laws of Seder, including the last one that says that you're not supposed to eat anything after afikoman. Afikoman may have been a kind of dessert. It's a Greek word. So you do not finish after Pesach with other kind of stuff, maybe some sweet things, maybe some nuts, or some other sweet fruits or whatever that people ate as dessert. Rather, Pesach is your dessert. That's why we call it afikoman. Today, of course, it's the matzah. It used to be the Pesach itself, the Korban Pesach, the Pesach offering was afikoman. But and it was eaten with matzah and maror, as the Torah tells us in this parsha. But today, when we don't have the temple, so the afikoman is our dessert, is the last piece of matzah. We eat a little bit of matzah at the end, and that's what we call afikoman. That's our dessert. So basically, the wise son gets the answer that explains all the laws of the Seder with all the details. Like the Torah says, actually, in Parshat Va'etchanan, you'll tell him exactly all the details, so everything. But there are other explanations about afikoman. I'm not going to go into this. There are all kinds of interesting and wise explanations, including Kabbalistic explanations. But obviously, the Torah doesn't say anything about afikoman. It's a later Greek word. But the Torah only says that we have to explain to the son who asks a detailed question, we have to give him a good, thorough answer. Okay. Now, in our Parsha, in Parshat Bo, in our weekly reading, we learn about 3 other sons. One of the sons, it says about him that he will say to you. The first time that Moshe talks about the Pesach offering, it says, if your sons will tell you. So they're not asking anything, they're just saying things. And that's the son that Chazal call wicked son. Right? He's asking a rhetorical question, what do you need all this for? All this tircha, all this bother. Every year you bother us with this nonsense. Right? Why do we need Pesach Seder? Right? He just tells you things, he's not asking. And indeed, he doesn't even mention the name of Hashem. He doesn't mention God's name at all. He just says, what do you need all this for? All kinds of nonsense. And that son is therefore called wicked. And there are 2 other sons mentioned at the end of our Parsha. There are 2 passages there that we actually, some people read them every day. They're part of our tefillin. The tefillin includes 4 parshiot. There are 4 parts of the Torah, 4 passages in the Torah where it says that they should be a sign on your hand, on your arm, and some kind of a sign, totafot or zikaron. Zikaron is remembrance. Totafot is a weird word that doesn't occur, it doesn't appear anywhere else, and only in the context of tefillin. And it's probably some kind of a ornament on your head, between your eyes, literally. So that's the 2 parts of tefillin that we put on every day. On all the weekdays, all Orthodox Jewish men put on tefillin. The arm tefillin is the one that's near the heart, and the tefillin on the head is the one that's on top of above the forehead, between the eyes, in the middle of the forehead, on top of it. So the parshiot that are included in this tefillin, both the hand and the head tefillin. There are 4 parshiot. It's just in the hand they're all together, In the head, there are 4 separate parshiot, so four separate passages. They're supposed to be kineged. They correspond to 4 senses in the head: eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. Right, four organs of senses, and they also correspond to 4 letters of divine name and many other 4s. And by the way, the 4 sons of Pesach Seder also has to do with it. There are 4 parts of Pesach Seder: 4 cups, 4 sons, 4 questions, a lot of 4s. At any rate, so the hand, the tefillin that we put on our arm near our heart, that has the same 4 parshiot, but they're written all together, all on one parchment. Whereas in the head, there are 4 separate ones. So the one on the heart is kineged the action and the sense of touch. So that one is also divided into 4, but it's all together. It's all one sense. Whereas the one in the head, it has to do with the brain, with the thoughts. So that one is corresponds to the 4 senses that are separate: seeing, hearing, smelling, and tasting. So we are trying to subdue all our senses to serve Hashem. That's the idea of tefillin. So the Torah tells us in 4 different places that it should be a sign on your hand and an ornament between your eyes, literally. Totafot, or zikaron, remembrance between your eyes. 2 places are in our Parsha, in the end of our Parsha, and then 2 other places are in Sefer Dvarim, again, when Moshe is telling Torah over before dying. So there are 2 parshiot, one in Vet Hanan and one in Ekev. 2 parshiot that mention, again, you should tie them on your hand, and you should they should be an ornament between your eyes. So therefore, these are the 4 parshiot that are now at tefillin. And the first 2 parshiot, it doesn't say you have to repeat them morning and evening. The last 2 parshiot, Shema and V'hayayim Shamoah, those 2 parshiot, it says that you should speak them when you go to sleep and when you wake up. And that's where the commandment of saying Kriyat Shema, reading these passages morning and evening, comes from. But in these 2 parshiot, the ones we read the coming Shabbat, Parshat Bo, it doesn't say you should repeat them every day. It only says that they should be a sign on your hand and between your eyes. Therefore, according to the letter of the law, you don't really have to read them every day. But there are many people, including Hasidim and Sephardim generally, that repeat these parshiot every single day. Since we put them on, they also try to read them as well. So those 2 parshiot are at the end of our Parsha, of our weekly reading. And there, again, 2 more children are mentioned. In Kadesh Li Kol Bechor, in the first of these 2 parshiot, it talks about a child that doesn't know how to ask. Because the Torah doesn't say your children will ask. It simply says you should tell your children. So therefore, that's the kind of son that doesn't even know what to ask. Usually it's a small child, I guess. That's how Chazal understood it. And last in our Parsha is a child who is called Tam, a simple child, who says, Mazot, what is this? And you answer him, B'chozek yad hotzeanu Hashem miMitzrayim. Now, it's interesting that we actually say in our Pesach Seder the answer to the son that doesn't know what to ask, also to the son that is deemed wicked. And according to the Vilna Gaon, the issue is that the wicked son you don't speak at all to. It doesn't really say you should answer him, since he just asked a rhetoric question and he doesn't want an answer, so you don't answer him either. Rather, you say to the other children, and this is of course in our Parshat Kadesh Li, V'higata levincha bayom hahu lemor ba'avur ze asa Hashem li. Because of this, what Hashem did to me. And our sages in Haggadah, Darshan, that explain these words, that he did it for me, but not for this guy. You know, this wicked son, he wouldn't even be redeemed altogether. And on this I'm going to end for today. I hope I explained a little bit where the idea of 4 sons comes from, and some of the weird, strange answers that don't seem to correspond. The answer to the wise son in particular, and the answer to the wicked son. All of this I explained according to the teachings of the Vilna Gaon, the Gra. And if you like this video, please press like and please subscribe to our channel.